Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fight Me Bro betting show. They're now branding this as UFC Fight Island 2. The last night's card was UFC Fight Island 1, even though it was the second one on Fight Island.
We started at
UFC,
0. Start with the 0 counter.
they need to figure something the fuck out with these, figuring out the names and, the hashtags because no one has a fuck. There was, 6 different hashtags going on last night. It's annoying as hell. I should have put it on our annoying list of things that if you guys haven't noticed or haven't tuned in, we put out a list of the unofficial rankings of the most annoying things about being an MMA fan. Very good bet session. But this episode we're breaking down Davison Figueiredo versus Joseph Benevidez 2, the fight that everyone was asking for.
Yes.
By everyone, I mean
almost
Joseph Benevidez, right. Mostly.
Yeah, probably only.
Yeah. Sorry. How many bets do you have for this?
I only got 2 this week again. I mean, I've been going light. It's been working, but I haven't. There's just not a lot of good meat here.
This one was a tough card. A lot of Russians, heavy Russian card, or at least Russian names. As you may know, Nick's been on a colossal winning streak. I think he's in 7 straight cards. We're gonna have to do the math on it. I just keep adding one to each week, but I think he's on his 7th straight card of being in the green on his picks. I went even because I had my lock and I lost a couple, but I am following. I'm only a matter of days removed from going 11-2, which is, we're gonna hang out one.
The ember still burns on that. You don't just lose that even with. The only way to completely undo that in one sitting is you almost would have to go positively inverse. You'd have to go 2-11 to undo that kind of heat. That heat just doesn't wear off with a 3-3 performance. You still got some of the fire. I'm firm in that. If you go, think about it like college football. If you have a scorching hot college football Saturday and then NFL you go 3-3, that next Saturday you're still feeling it. You're still feeling hot.
Yeah, funny you said I'd have to go 2-11. And I'm like, fuck, I've gone worse than 2. I think I went 0-13 before. So
you didn't this time. So
yeah, we did it 11-2. I might honestly make a T-shirt for that and commemorate just as 11-2, and then just have 7-10 2020.
But no context. Don't say that it's a UFC event. It's just, what is that? 11-2 day.
It was 11-2. It's November 2nd. No.
No.
Come on. Don't be a fucking idiot. It was June 10th or June whatever. All right, well, I'll go first. I have 3. My first one's coming in Davi Ramos versus something. How do you pronounce his name? Sarkurian? I don't fucking know.
I forgot who he's fighting. I looked at this one, but I decided to stay away.
It's something.
That I honestly, by the way, quick interjection. So as much as I said there's not a lot of meat here, there were about 3 to 4 fights that I looked at, thought about, and then just couldn't. I was like, I can't pull the trigger. I don't know if that's a sign of being gun shy because of the hot streak, but I just wasn't feeling it on this card. I'd look and I'm like, dude, because then I think I get into, which is why this might be a problematic card anyway, because I just get inside my own head too much. Because then I looked at it and I'm like, am I picking this guy because I'm forcing picks out, or am I picking this guy? And then on the inverse, when I back out, then I'm like, am I backing out because I'm trying to protect the streak? And I couldn't land on anything. I just didn't feel gut deep about anything.
I was hunting for reasons to bet on someone. I would click the best fight odds, look through everything, and be like, oh, I would go through the records and be like, I guess. I'm trying to convince myself for a reason one way or the other, and then would just back out and be like, okay, on to the next one. Yeah, and I went through the whole thing where it's like, fuck, it was hard to find a lock this week. But Davi Ramos, so he's a plus 170 underdog, which for me, I made this big pick solely because you got to look after your jiu-jitsu guys. He's ADCC world champ. You don't get those very easily. Davi Ramos, I know he's lost to some pretty good competition. I think both these guys have lost to Islam Makhachev, who, unfortunately is no slouch. But this other guy, he's only 23 years old. So I'm going with the 33-year-old and Davi Ramos kind of has, he's had quite a bit of fights in the UFC now. So I don't really know too much about this other guy, but at 23 years old, there was nothing on his resume that really stood out. And Davi Ramos is plus 170. and built like a fucking brick house, I'm going Ramos.
Yeah, the reason I backed up is I just feel like if he can't get takedowns, sometimes he struggles to get cooking on the feet. That's why I backed off of this one. All right, so my first pick, we're going to go in the Ariane Lipski, Luana Carolina fight. I know, I think I've been duped into betting on Lipski a couple times. Well, actually, she won the last one, and I think I took her. But I was on the wrong side of her other two fights in the UFC, for sure. Also, for what it's worth, confirmed member of the MMA Baywatch. That said, basically her problem is she has never seen a wrestling mat in her entire life. Very easily taken down. Like, she's got pretty, I don't know that, look, we're not going to get a Calvin Kattar boxing display here, but she's got fast hands and throws combinations when she gets cooking. But in every single, like, her fights that she's lost, it's just been, I mean, I cannot even begin to describe how little takedown defense there was in the fight. I mean, it's if a double leg is shot, she's on the ground before contact is made. Like, that's how
you sprawl. Like, you sprawl with your ass. You just sit down.
Yes. Yeah. Like, it's almost like when somebody shoots, she just subconsciously pulls guard, even though she definitely is not subconsciously pulling guard. That said, did a little look into this Luana Carolina chick, and I think we might have a little bit of Nadia Kasem syndrome. So this girl has fought a bunch of nobodies. And now, granted, only had 7 fights. So that you could get one of these instances of this past Wednesday where, what was that guy's name? Lezik? Whoever the guy that fought Abdul Razak Hassan.
Oh,
that guy came out of fucking nowhere and, quick side note, looked incredible. Like, the forward elbows, what an impressive performance by that guy. Now that I'm done sucking his dick, that is a potential hazard of this fight. But basically, I think we're going to get a stand-up fight here, which is kind of where Lipski's going to excel. And so I think she probably has to kind of know, like, time's a ticking on when she's got to show some promise. And the UFC's giving her a matchup to do it. Girl's going to stand with you. Show us why we fucking signed you, outside of the fact that you're hot. But I think she's going to get a chance to show off the hands here and not really have to worry about too much wrestling. So at minus 130, I'm going to throw a little money down on her. Why not?
Yeah, don't hate that bet at all. And then to my last pick before my lock, I'm going. This is in the main event: Davison Figueiredo versus Joseph Benevidez. Last time I bet on Joseph Benevidez like a fucking idiot because I thought maybe one time the good guys will get it done. Learned my lesson, getting back to my negative roots. I'm going Davison Figueiredo.
And what's the line for that? I didn't even look because I know I'm not taking that.
Minus 210. Which
crazy that he's 2-1.
Plus 175. Joe B is great value. And if you watch the fight, Joe B, I think, was winning the fight until he and then got knocked out. But for some reason, I just cannot see this fight going in Joe B's
It's the law of MMA, man.
Exactly, where it's like at the end of the day, the world is a sad, miserable place that the happy journeyman, good guy, smart guy, he's just not going to get it done. He's going to be that story of just the one that just couldn't get it done. And he's going to be our Dan Marino. Like, that's what's going to be.
He also seems mad salty this week. Like, he's not coming into this fight a normal, just casual. He always seems like he's in the Faber crew, man. They all don't give a shit. There's no bad blood. The only bad blood they got is Faber and Cruz. Other than that, it's always, hey, man, happy to be here. I'm just good at fighting. I'm just here to fight. And now this week, have you seen these interviews? He's kind of changed his tune up a lot where I'm going to hurt this man. Like, I want him to hurt like I hurt when I lost. It's like, all right, man, fucking relax.
That isn't the mentality that I wanted. Like, originally I did have Joe B written in, and I was like, if round 1 just went longer, he wins that whole fight. He wins the decision. But I'm like, he's going to come out, and Davison Figueiredo has putting away power. He has stopping power. And I think Joe B, he's probably going to win the first again and maybe the second. But I have a feeling in that third, fourth round comes out, he's going to get hit. And maybe it won't be a knockout, but I could see him like stumbling him in the third and then just an ugly fourth and fifth round. And then it's just like, oh, this sucks. Like, this is sad. So if I'm going to be sad, I at least want to be sad and rich. So minus 210, it's a lot, but
It
again,
is.
that hump, like it's so hard to get over. Once you lose to someone, there's only a handful of times where I see people actually come back and win. And unfortunately, I think Joe B might be too nice of a guy for it to come true for him.
Yeah, that's why I stayed away with this one because like you said, on paper, the value on Joe B is out of control. I mean,
Yeah.
normally, if this was the first time that they were fighting, this is a
Hammer.
no-brainer hammer. Even knowing what I know about MMA being a cruel place, because the first time Joe B was the favorite, right?
Yeah,
By
yeah.
like
And
he was like a 250 or something, I think.
I
He
think it
was
was
just,
at least 2-1.
yeah. And so normally, under normal circumstances, I would say to hammer this, and that this is great value. I mean, getting Joe B as an underdog, and who knows, it might be. But the thing is, for exactly the reason you pointed out, it is the world is a sad, sad, cruel place, and I'm not gonna get like I save those big like when you go big on an underdog. Because this is a fight where I bet you there's gonna be. He's almost a 2-1 underdog. There's going to be a lot of you'll get some of those Vegas stories. Someone put 50K on Joe B, like that kind of stuff. You save those for the Caitlin Chukagian, Antonina Shevchenko sure things. Like you save that for that. You don't put those bets on the ones where the juju gets involved. Like you put those bets on, hey, the line's fucking wrong and this underdog is a better fighter. This is a case where I mean, Joe's a better fighter, but there's juju involved, and you don't fuck with the juju of MMA odds making, and that I just couldn't find it in myself to put a bet down on him, knowing that this is probably going to end in a night of tears for him and Megan O'Leary.
Yeah, no, it's just that's the way the UFC cookie crumbles. So for your lock of the week,
All right, lock of the week, we're going co-main event, which is actually look, flyweight's been mad interesting lately in terms of entertainment value. I feel like in Corona, flyweight's really had a chance to come out and shine with some fast-paced fights and stuff. So, there's a lot of people looking forward to this main event, hella, but the fight that I'm most curious about is this co-main event between Jack Hermansson and Kelvin Gastelum. I've gone back and forth a million times on this, and for whatever reason, I haven't dipped my toes in the alternate bets line or in the alternate bets pool for a while. I got so caught up in trying to pick a winner of this fight, and then I realized I could just take the over. And so the over is 2.5 rounds, minus 175. That's my lock of the week.
See that?
Huh?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Here's kind of because here's what I'm thinking. Kelvin Gastelum has these bouts of just like brilliance and where his hands look super crisp and whatnot. But, Hermansson got clobbered by Jared Cannonier, but I think we can all agree that Jared Cannonier hits significantly harder than Kelvin Gastelum. Not that Kelvin Gastelum doesn't hit hard. I mean, he dropped Bisping. He had Izzy on skates for a little bit. He hits fucking hard. But Gastelum, I'm not seeing I just can't see this fight ending super quick. Like, Hermansson's best weapons are that guillotine on the submission game. It's going to be a tall fucking order to submit Gastelum. First of all, he's built like a box, so guillotining him is going to be very difficult. His body is a rectangle, so there's not like a neck attached to the top that you can easily grip. That's going to be tough. And then I think if Hermansson really wants to win the striking, he's almost got to. In some of his fights, he gets into this. Which is good that he tracks him down to the cage and then starts unloading the hooks and stuff on the feet. But at the same time, I don't think unloading hooks with a guy like Kelvin Gastelum is the way to win. Like, I think Hermansson needs to use distance. I mean, he can obviously throw hooks, but he's going to use the kicks, use the jab, and try to get that going if he's going to try to win this striking. And if he's not going to win in striking, he's going to do Jack Hermansson things, which is he's a Greco background guy. And he's going to get in the clinch and try to throw Gastelum around. Now, do I think he's going to get him down? No, not really all that frequently. However, we saw what Usman did to Masvidal. You don't have to get him fucking down. You just clinch him up, land some strikes, and win. So he can win that way. And I think if Gastelum is going to win, like he's got to just close the distance. He's going to be working the body. He's the shorter guy. And I just don't know that I trust him to put Hermansson away in only a 15-minute fight. So when I was going, like I said, I was going back and forth. I have no fucking idea who's going to win this fight. But then you just take the over. So I got
totally
over
went back and forth on
two and
this
a
too.
half.
Like Hermanson, I'm like, okay, he's looked pretty good, but then you're like, okay, it was against an old Jacare and David Branch that was also old, and
That
then
Cannoneer loss, I know exactly where your thought process is, where it's like, if he beats Cannoneer, it's this guy is elite. But
yeah,
just because he loses the Cannoneer, then you start going back and
question
thinking,
everything.
what? Was David Branch that impressive? Was it? And then you just start, you get in your own head.
I was super big on the Joker. I love Jack Hermanson because I bet on him against Branch. I bet on him against fucking Jacare, and I bet on him against some other guy, that Rufus Sport guy. He fucking beat the shit out of all three. And then the Cannoneer thing happened. I'm like, oh, now I'm questioning everything, like you said. But 2.5 rounds, because I don't think fucking Kelvin Gastelum, he's got about an inch of fucking fat in between his skull and his brain that he just like, it takes so much to actually hurt him. So I mean, Jack Hermanson's big. I looked at Kelvin Gastelum's like 5'9". 5'9".
Yeah.
He's got an inch on me. Jack Hermanson 6'1". And I'm
Yeah.
like, there, you're gonna look so different there. But then I think, well, Izzy was in there, and Calvin Gastelum found a way to do it. So I was leaving Calvin, then going back on Jack. 2.5. I will take that night up for sure. Like that a lot, but I'm not going to take on my card. My lock of the week, you already had it in here. Ariana Lipsky versus this Luana Carolina girl. Like you said, I kind of got the Nadia Kasem syndrome feeling from her. Looked on SureDog, saw she had a fight with Priscilla Cachoeira.
I forgot to mention that.
And I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. And I didn't know SureDog did this, but they give like a full like breakdown round per round of like a synopsis. And it's like,
That's
okay,
gotta be new.
I don't know, but I clicked it, and it's like they can't both come running out of the gate. Luana eats a hard right. And I read the first round. I was just looking to see if there's any wrestling. There was no wrestling. And by the end of the first round, I think Luana won the round, but she had a lot of damage on her face, was wearing a lot of damage, and was bleeding from the eye. So if your boxing is that salty that Priscilla Cachoeira is going to fuck you up on the feet like that, I feel like that's what Ariana Lipsky wants to do. Like, she doesn't want to do anything with wrestling. So if this is a girl that is wanting to go out there and get into a fucking brawl, then that's the best case scenario for Lipsky. So I'm taking her lock of the week. I was going to do Figueiredo lock of the week, but I'm like, at minus 200, I don't like it. But at minus 130, I think it's a pretty safe lock of the week. I really like her a lot. So, again, I feel like we've had a lot of luck with the same picks for, so hopefully we don't jinx it. But those are our picks. So not a whole lot on this one, but like we've been saying, we've been telling you, get on board. We've been fucking winning. All right. Don't come to us when we start losing, because we would have told you, get in earlier. So yeah. Let's hope it just keeps up, and maybe we're just MMA betting guys now.
I hope it keeps up. This one is in terms of this. Yeah, this card, there's not too much, but next week we got the Till Whitaker. That's going to be a monster. And there's who else is fighting next? There's some good ones like that I haven't seen odds for yet, but I know you got who the hell's Michelle Waterson fight? Angie Hill we talked about. Like there have been I've seen some announcements floating around that I'm excited. Like I hope we can keep it rolling, because I'm excited for some stuff that's coming up in the next 3 weeks or so here. There's some good shit on the agenda. And then plus you're about to get Bellator back, so if you ever need a bailout, you just take literally all the underdogs because they're all plus 3,700, and then you just need one of them to win and you make your money back.
Exactly. And like, the whole Bellator thing, I like the name Fight Sphere, but then it's like, it's not Fight Island. Like if you were trying to do like, if Fight Sphere came out before Fight Island, I'd be like, that's really cool. And then if Fight Island came out, I'd be like, okay, that's cooler. But the fact that it came out first and is cooler, it just seems like, nice try, Scott Coker, but you lost.
One of the rare misses from Scott Coker.
I mean, he had to do something, but I think Dana White.
Dana White's been pushing his teeth in with. I mean, Dana White's cracked off 9-10 events, and Coker hasn't done dick.
Yeah, no, he's coming off like a real pussy, but we'll hopefully Dylan Dennis talks some sense into his business partner and gets things on the right track.
You know that you're gonna have no, because it's Pettis and Bandera. I'm very surprised. I don't know if it has anything to do with visas. I mean, this is kind of a sidetrack, but very surprised that we didn't find a way to get Valereta on a card, Elimele McFarlane somewhere in there, and then Who's the guy that trains with McGregor? Jimmy Gallagher, or
Oh yeah, yeah.
is it Jimmy Gallagher?
James Gallagher.
James Gallagher. What's Jimmy Gallagher?
Is that the guy
Is that Oasis?
Who's the guy that fucking smashes watermelons?
Oh, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's not even James Gallagher. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Well, whatever. But I'm just surprised that they didn't roll out the way. I mean, I know Chandler's got a fight coming up. I think he might be on that card actually. And they got McKee, who's obviously a savage. But yeah, it was surprised. I don't know. I thought Scott Coker, after waiting all this time, I thought he was going to bring more of the bigger guns out for this fight sphere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still gonna watch it because what else is there to do?
I have a gambling
We're about to
problem.
get locked up again, so let's keep the fights rolling. But until the next card, I don't really know what you know when it is. Is it another Wednesday?
I think it's
card
next set. So I think we got Saturday, then we got a full week. So I don't think there's any midweek stuff, and then it's gonna be the next Saturday is Till and Whitaker. I think that's how it works.
Damn, I am. So next Saturday is Till Whitaker?
Yes.
Fuck
I think so.
I totally that was just one of those fights that I knew was made, but I'm just like, that's not actually happening though, right? It's just like I feel like those are both guys that just something always comes up. So yeah, like I said, follow our picks, follow our bets. You can follow me at Broliva. You can follow Nick at _a guy and a gi. Follow us both at Below the Belt MMA, where we'll be tweeting out Saturday night. Tweet us your picks. So until next week, peace out. Good luck betting.
Peace.